Lesson 89, vector decomposition. Okay, when we're decomposing a vector, we're just splitting it into a horizontal vector and the vertical vector. So we're just going to write that we're splitting it into the horizontal and vertical vectors. So if we have a vector v, and we would call this one vector v sub x, and this one, vector v sub y. So vector v is made up of x, y. So there's the vector x, y. V sub x is just the vector x0, and v sub y is the vector 0, y. So that's decomposing a vector. So here's an example. We have vector 2, 3. And if we want to decompose it, vector v sub x, vector v sub y. So we want to find each of those vectors. V sub x is just equal to 2, 0, and v sub y is equal to 0, 3. That part is not too hard. We just split it up into two different vectors. We can have a vector with degree and magnitude. So if we have a vector, we'll call this vector v. The magnitude would be m. The degree would be theta. And we have our v sub x, vector v sub y. So if you notice, cosine of theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have vector v sub x, and if you remember, that's the magnitude. So when you put that in those absolute value bars, that means the magnitude of v sub x over m, which is the magnitude of your vector. So if I want to find the magnitude of v sub x, I would multiply both sides by m. So the magnitude of v sub x equals m times cosine theta. So we can say that v sub x, if we were to write it in vector notation, equals the magnitude times cos theta, 0. So if you remember, when we decompose, v sub x is just equal to the x value, which we would find by taking magnitude cosine theta. And by the same reasoning, the measure of sine theta is equal to the magnitude of v sub y. So v sub y is equal to 0 m sine theta. And when we combine those two to find the vector itself, is m cos theta, m sine theta. So these are the three vectors that you want to remember. So here's an example of a problem that you might see. So we have vector t has a 33-degree angle and a magnitude of 7. Find the vector in component form. So we're going to use this component form for the vector. So we take the magnitude times cosine theta. So 7 cosine 33 and 7 sine 33. And then we just plug that into our calculator and we get 5.87, 3.81. And that's the end of the lesson. One thing, if they asked us to decompose it, then we'd have t sub x and t sub y would be this, comma 0, 0, comma that.